When did you realize your family was using you? When I overheard my dad on the phone saying, "Yeah, we keep her around for the insurance money." I was 19, working part-time at Murphy's Diner while living at home. I'd been in a car accident 2 years earlier and got a settlement that my parents were helping me manage, since I was supposedly too young to handle that kind of money responsibly. It was a Tuesday afternoon and I came home early because we'd run out of coffee at the diner. I was planning to grab some from our kitchen and head back for the dinner rush. That's when I heard Dad talking in his office with the door cracked open. The girl brings in $800 a month from the settlement payments. Plus, she pays us $400 rent and buys all the groceries. It's like having a tenant who pays us to live here. My blood turned to ice. I pressed myself against the wall, barely breathing. We just need to keep her here until the payments run out. Should be another 3 years, maybe 4. Karen's already picked out the new kitchen cabinets and that dining room set she wanted. I felt like I was going to throw up. If she moves out, we lose everything. The payments, the rent money, the free groceries. We've got it made as long as she doesn't get too independent. The voice on the other end said something I couldn't hear. Nah, she never checks the account. We told her it was accumulating interest in some special fund. She's too trusting for her own good. My hands started shaking. I'd been asking about my settlement money for months, wanting to maybe use some for college. They kept saying it was growing and I should be patient. I crept back to my room and quietly grabbed my laptop. For the first time in over a year, I logged into my settlement account online. Balance, $247.33. I stared at the screen in disbelief. The original settlement was $85,000. I scrolled through the transaction history with growing horror. Monthly withdrawals of $2,400 going back almost 2 years. The memo line always said patient care facility fees, patient care facility. They were telling the insurance company I lived in some kind of care facility while pocketing the money. I called the settlement company immediately. "Ms. Rodriguez, this is unexpected. How are you calling from outside the facility?" "What facility?" I asked, my voice barely a whisper. "The Sunshine Valley Care Center. Your parents told us you required specialized living assistance due to your accident injuries. We've been sending your monthly living allowance directly to them as your legal guardians." I hung up and just sat there staring at my laptop screen. Everything made sense now. Why they insisted I live at home for my recovery. Why they always had excuses when I wanted to be more independent. Why Mom got nervous whenever I mentioned moving out or going to college. They'd been stealing from me for 2 years while making me pay them rent with my diner wages. That night at dinner, they asked about my day like nothing had happened. Dad even joked about me contributing to the household when I brought home leftover pie from work. I played along, but inside, I was planning. The next morning, I waited until they left for work. I called in sick to the diner and spent the day packing everything that mattered into garbage bags. Then I called the state insurance fraud hotline. We'd like to report parents fraudulently claiming their adult daughter lives in a care facility while she pays them rent to live at home. The investigator was very interested in my story. By 3 p.m., everything I owned was loaded in my beat-up Honda. I left a note on the kitchen table. "Thanks for the care facility experience these past 2 years. The state insurance fraud department will be in touch. My settlement payments are being redirected to my new address. Don't contact me." I drove straight to my coworker Jenny's apartment. She'd been looking for a roommate and always said I could crash there if I needed to. 2 hours later, my phone started buzzing nonstop. "Mom, honey, where are you? We came home and all your things are gone." "Dad, call me right now. We need to talk about this misunderstanding." I turned my phone off and helped Jenny make dinner in her tiny kitchen. 3 days later, I got a call from the fraud investigator. They'd frozen my parents' assets pending investigation. The settlement company was sending me forms to redirect my payments. It took 6 weeks, but I eventually got access to a new settlement account. I'd lost about $57,600 to their care facility scam, but the remaining payments would help me start over. Mom called crying a few weeks later, saying I'd misunderstood everything, and they were just trying to help me be responsible with money. But $57,600 in stolen money doesn't lie.